Gary Daly, and I'm the product sales specialist for Cisco Meraki for Ireland.
Hi, Gary. I'm Eilish. I'm CTO for Viatel.
Excellent. So Eilish, if you can tell me maybe a little bit about Viatel, that would be great.
Sure. Viatel is actually a really exciting place to be at the moment. We've pretty much doubled in size over the last 12 months due to massive organic growth, but also acquisitions as well. Traditionally, Viatel have been big in the connectivity space. We have really extensive infrastructure all across Ireland, the UK, and into Europe. And we're probably the most connected service provider in Ireland. We also have a lot of voice services, again, of our own infrastructure, and we own our own data center in Blanchardstown in Dublin. And then I suppose for the last 3 years, what we've been doing is layering on additional services onto all of that infrastructure. So from the network perspective, we've been layering on what we're here to talk about today, which is SD-WAN based on Cisco Meraki technology. But we've also layered on some cloud services over our voice, and we've also implemented our own stretched cloud cluster, which allows us to provide private cloud services as well. And then most recently, actually, just this week, we've announced an acquisition of Action Point Technologies, who are in the software development and managed IT services space. So that really extends out our proposition to our customers and our expertise and skill sets as well. Viatel actually started as a direct customer of Meraki. So about 4 years ago, I think it was at this stage, we deployed our own office Wi-Fi and switching and a couple of MXs as well, just for our LAN infrastructure in the Dublin office. And then at one point, our product development team at the time were tasked with bringing a managed firewall solution to our customers. So there was a big evaluation process of a number of vendors, but we were so impressed with our experience with Meraki that we decided that this was the route that we were going to go to with market. And I suppose there was a number of reasons for that. And Gary, you really touched upon it. I mean, it's the ease of use, it was the visibility from the portal and that single pane of glass. And it also allowed us, because of that, I suppose the full stack technology with the switches and the access points, these were traditionally areas where we didn't go into. Our demarcation was always at the WAN. You know, we would hand off our services at that point. But with Meraki, we were able to get deeper with our customers and to provide not just the security solution with the MXs, but also then the Wi-Fi with the access points and the switches. So that's actually how we started. And this was about 3.5 years ago now that we started going to market in Ireland with SD-WAN. You know, we really liked the idea of this modern network that we were bringing to our customers. And we were a bit early at the start. You know, we did a lot of presentations, we did road shows, we had lots of events, and we often got back SD-WAN. You know, people hadn't actually heard the term SD-WAN at the time, and now it's completely flipped on its head. You know, we're still leaders in this space, but now customers are actually coming to us and specifically asking for SD-WAN rather than us trying to go out and I suppose almost educate people to what SD-WAN was. And Meraki really supported us right from the start. I mean, Gary, you were just back in Ireland in your new role at that point. You know, we had lots of workshops, lots of calls, even a few nights out, which I won't mention too much about on this call. But yeah, look, I mean, it's really been a fantastic journey for us, and everybody bought into it really early. You know, all of our engineers, all of our solution architects, all of the support, we're all CMNA certified. And as a result, you know, there's Meraki kit in homes all over the country as a result of that, because we have so many people certified in that space. And actually, I came across one of the first proposals I'd ever worked on the other day. It was well over 3 years ago now. And I'd taken a screenshot of our MSP portal, and at the time we had about 3 devices under management. But we're still so proud, you know, that we had a customer and that we were really beginning to gain traction with it. So just before this call, I logged back into our MSP portal, and now we're on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of managed devices across 7 countries, all across Europe. And it's just, it really hit me how much of a journey and how successful this has been for us. So yeah, that's, I suppose, how we got started with Meraki. And now it's not just the MXs, it's not just the security appliances and the access points and so on. We're now also delivering cameras, the IoT devices and the sensors. We've also developed our own tools with the Meraki APIs as well, with our software development team. So really, we're just really excited about what else we can do with this. And I suppose looking to the future, then it's all about layering on additional services as well. That's the other thing that we love about Meraki, is that I suppose the interoperability between the other Cisco security products with Meraki.
Excellent, Jen. I love that story about, like, as you said, you logged in when you first started putting on devices, and now you've seen the sort of exponential growth. And like, even similar to us as well, there's over 3.5 million active customer networks worldwide now. And I always remember when I started 7 years ago, that was 200,000. And I think every Meraki rep, sort of logs in when they start, and they always remember that number. So that's great. And like, what type of industries do you guys operate in as well?
I suppose as a business, Viatel operate across pretty much every industry. But I suppose when it comes to SD-WAN, there's a few key industries that we find we're very successful in delivering the services. And often it's the same drivers actually behind the decision to move to SD-WAN. Some of these industries are in the medical and the healthcare. Some of them are pharmacy groups, recruitment and outsourcing, retail and finance and financial services, particularly strong in the credit union space as well. And I suppose one of the major drivers that we're seeing for IT managers and CTOs for choosing SD-WAN and Viatel is usually a rapidly expanding business, and as a result, a rapidly expanding network, often due to growth through acquisitions or mergers. Some of the other key factors that we see are people going through a network refresh and no longer wanting that static, slow to roll out network. They really want a modern and secure network that can scale easy as the business grows as well.
Right. And yeah, we've heard the word SD-WAN quite a bit now. So, like, what does SD-WAN mean to you?
Well, there's probably a personal meaning, and then there's the technical meaning as well. I suppose I'll start with the technical. So technically, I mean, look, SD-WAN it's software defined wide area networks. It's a way of connecting multiple sites in your network to each other and to the cloud as well, securely. And that's essentially it. Because it's software defined, you can move much quicker. So we can roll out the network a lot quicker. It's a lot more flexible. And as I mentioned many times, you can layer on additional security services to it as well. In some ways, it's a bit like, Google Maps. There's many ways of getting across the network, but really it's about orchestrating the best paths, but also the most secure way of doing that as well.
Yeah, and I like that sort of Google Maps analogy. So, like, if I was to get in the car now and drive to Tipperary, I'd check Google Maps and I'd see what's the traffic like, what's the weather like, and like, essentially this is what we do with SD-WAN. We check various different factors to make sure that the traffic goes to the correct and most efficient route as well. And I think for SD-WAN, like for Meraki, while we simplify everything, it's only part of the story. So there's sort of simplicity, there's intelligence, and there's also security, because at the end of the day, all of these boxes have the Cisco logo on there, and we do take security really seriously. So yeah, absolutely, it is a great technology. And then I guess another thing as well, I mean, you're part of the Cisco partnership, right? And I hear that you guys have won a couple of awards with Cisco as well recently. So maybe if you want to fill us in on that.
We have indeed, and hopefully there'll be a few more to come as well. Yeah, so I suppose we've really started to accelerate our partnership with Cisco when we started selling SD-WAN. So in 2022, sorry, no, that's now. In 2020 was the first award that we won. So that was when we won Cisco's Rising Star. And again, it was all down to our strategy of really focusing on SD-WAN and really having that as our primary WAN service. And then in 2021, so last year we won the Cisco Transformation and Innovation Partner Award. And that was primarily based on all the work that we're doing in helping one of our medical services company grow from when we first started rolling out SD-WAN for them, it was 27 sites. We're now currently over 60 sites with them, and we're continuing that journey and really helping them to push to 100 sites across Ireland. And all of those other things that we've layered on over the years as well.
Excellent. And then I guess what sort of do you feel makes Viatel different? Because I guess, you know, there's lots of other partners there that could do things like SD-WAN. What makes you guys different?
I'm going to ask you that same question in a minute because
Yeah,
you'll be busy dealing with the partners.
yeah,
But I suppose from my perspective, what makes Viatel different is, well, there's a few things. There's one on kind of the services that we offer. So obviously we don't just provide the SD-WAN itself. What we also provide is the connectivity. We provide, you know, the voice services, all of those things. So we're able to wrap a complete solution, we'll say, for our customers. So instead of having to manage many different suppliers, they can now come to us as their trusted partner to deliver all of their communications and all of their cloud services. But I suppose what really makes Viatel different is the service wrap that we put around it. And I know everybody says that, you know, they love their customers and they're really customer focused. But I have to say, out of all the companies I've ever worked for, I've never felt it as strong anywhere else as I have in Viatel. You know, we really are passionate about our customers. We don't always get things right, and the very nature of technology is that things go wrong, but everybody rallies around. You know, it doesn't matter if it's the NOC or if it's customer support or, you know, solution architects, whoever it is, everybody helps whenever there's an issue. Everybody helps to make sure that we're giving the best service and the best solutions to our customers. And we all care, you know, we really do. And we build up really strong relationships with our customers. And that's, I think, one of the main reasons as well why we've never lost an SD-WAN customer. You know, from the very moment that we bring them on board, the feedback that we've gotten from our customers is just phenomenal. So I'm going to throw it back on you, Gary. Being out in the market,
perfect.
what do you
So
think makes Viatel unique?
yeah, so there's a couple of things in terms of why I think Viatel is different. I think, you know, the background even of your CEO is very much sort of cloud centric. I think that really helps as well. I think there's a vision there, which is excellent. And I do think your engineers and I guess the company in general are very sort of hungry for knowledge. I think, like you mentioned earlier, the vast majority of your engineers have actually attended, you know, our partner training, which is called CMNA, and they've all got Meraki gear then in their homes, and they're practicing quite a bit. And you know, the people is everything, right? Like you guys come to us and sort of ask, you know, can we have a session because, you know, we need to sort of update our learning. So things like that, you know, not everyone does that, and you guys definitely do that quite a bit. And also, you're not just focused on one particular area. Like you've seen, okay, you know, SD-WAN is I guess initially where you guys wanted to start, but then you've branched out to wireless, you've branched out to IoT, the switches. You know, you've sold all the actual technology. So I think it's just that thirst for knowledge, the vision, the fact that, you know, as I said, the cloud element to you guys as well. And just, yeah, I guess we all get on as well as individuals, which definitely helps.
We do. I think there's a very good relationship at every level between us in this partnership. Um,
For sure.
And I suppose you've touched on, you know, our hunger for knowledge and for wanting to know more and do more. So what are the latest innovations from Meraki that we should be looking at and that we probably already are, I would hope. But from your perspective, where do you see the Meraki technology going over the next 12 months?
Yeah, sure. I think what Meraki does is we reduce complexity in the marketplace. So initially, Meraki actually started off, you know, basically as a research project, and it was providing free Wi-Fi to students in MIT, and it eliminated the need for a physical controller, a wireless controller, to be on site. And then, we launched other products like, as an example, the firewall, the switches, and then we came out with cameras. And what we did there was we took something that was complex. So cameras require like a physical piece of infrastructure. We've removed that. It's just a piece of hardware and a license. And even with sensors as well, we've sort of done the same thing. We've reduced complexity, because sensors, by their very nature, from what we've seen in the marketplace, are difficult to install, not very user friendly. So I think that Meraki will continue to do that. While I'm touching on the IoT portfolio, I mean, that's an area that's just going to grow and grow. We're going to be releasing more and more Meraki things, which are our sensors. And really, I think one of the great things about particularly the IoT portfolio is we don't just want to build features, we actually basically want to solve customer problems. And that's how Meraki actually thinks about these things. And of course, the obvious is I guess the relationship with Cisco. Obviously, we're part of the Cisco family. We're the cloud networking group, but you will see that there's more and more sort of innovations being sort of brought together with Meraki. So things like Cisco Umbrella integrating seamlessly with Meraki, things like Duo, even Thousand Eyes in the future. So I think, Todd Nightingale was the general manager of Meraki since 2012, and then in 2020 he actually became the head of enterprise networks and cloud in Cisco. So there was always this joke, right, from Chuck Robbins about wanting to Merakify Cisco, and I think that putting someone like Todd in that place has sort of expanded that. So those things are really exciting. And of course, something that we're going to go into then is SASE as well, which is really, like I said there, it is combining all these different components within the portfolio.
Very good. Yeah, look, we're very excited to be part of that journey as well. And I suppose that's one of the main things that we're excited about for 2022 and the year ahead is is really to take that technology, but as you said, not just to sell it as what it is, but actually looking at the challenges that our customers face and helping to solve those. I mean, we ourselves are even using the Meraki sensors in our data center, and we find that they're so good, the visibility and all of that you can build in. And for us, I suppose 2022 as well is going to have a big focus on SASE. I really like that name, but I suppose what SASE is essentially is Secure Access Service Edge. And again, for us in Viatel, I mean, SASE can mean many different things to different people, but for us, it's about giving that same user experience and that same level of security when connecting users to their applications, whether they're sitting in an office, whether they're sitting on a train, or whether they're, working from home. It's that consistent user experience with regards to security that's really important and really driving those conversations that we're having with customers. And SD-WAN is a big building block of that SASE roadmap, which we already have. So really, it's just a natural progression for us to layer on the things that you mentioned, the Umbrella, Duo, AnyConnect, and really any other services, like you said, Thousand Eyes, that we can bring to our customers, because the last 2 years have been really challenging for them. There was a big scramble to get everybody working from home. And now going into our second, almost even longer than that year of it, people are now starting to step back and realize, look, this is now the norm. So we have to bring a different approach to security. So as I mentioned, it doesn't matter where a user is working, that they're secured, they have a good user experience, and yeah, that Viatel hopefully will be the partner for people to do that.
Yeah, and I think as well, like I guess the pandemic has sort of accelerated that hybrid working and people working from home. So a lot of times, like, organizations are now sort of shifting from the data center, and they're moving to multi-cloud environments. So they want to connect to the internet directly without traversing the data center. And like you said, SASE, it combines sort of SD-WAN and networking as well as observability. And this is where we fit in really nicely. And someone from Cisco told me before that basically for SASE, and why we're different, is that we view SASE as an architecture. And there is all these different component parts, like there might be the network like Meraki, there might be cloud security, be it Umbrella. And as a customer, you can go and buy these different component parts. You know, it's sort of up to the customer. But we as Cisco, like I said, we view this as an architecture, and then we make component part X work with Y, as in maybe Meraki working with Umbrella, so that you don't have to do that. It will just sort of work seamlessly out of the box. And that's probably where we're, I think, a little bit different.
So what else are you looking forward to in 2022, Gary?
So in 2022, I'm actually just looking forward to actually going out and meeting you guys again, because it's been almost 2 years, and like we've been extremely successful together, sort of just working from our screens. But as we all know, the synergy that we get from face-to-face meetings, that's going to be great. So really looking forward to that.
I'll cheers to that, Gary.
Cheers.
Thanks.